Greetings and salutations, fellow gamers. Lukey P here with another episode of Supreme Ruler Ultimate Let's Play as Brazil. You'll notice that time has moved on about 4 months or so since the last episode. So I'll just give you a quick update on what's happened. So we're obviously massively richer. I think we left with about 33 billion and we're now on like 52. We basically make money faster than we can spend it. Keeping our inflation relatively lowish is not too bad. You notice our unemployment's gone up to 2.1 though, despite having conquered a few countries. That's because I have been on a bit of an infrastructure spending spree. So we started building some. Let me just turn supply off. We've started building some roads across a whole bunch of rivers, which are just to help units get around. We've basically, this whole bit used to be like an infrastructure dead zone. I even interestingly lost a few planes, not to enemy fire, but because they were trying to fly from down here where we conquered Paraguay, I think. No, Uruguay was down there, I think. They tried to fly the length of the country back up to the north, and kind of I heard a big bang and some of them had crashed over this supply dead zone. So we started building some airfield. Actually, I think that airfield was there, but we built an airbase there. We built we already had that airbase, but there was one there as well. We are in the process of moving these guys to build another. I was hoping I was going to show you where they're moving. It hasn't yet. We're building another down there, which will probably be our jumping off point to invade Bolivia. In terms of the rest of the world, what's happened? Not a lot in some way. Germany, you see these little hazard signs? Germany is racked by kind of regular rebellions. So the UK, basically partisan units form in these large empires. So you kind of got elements of the Soviet Union springing back up in various parts of Germany. And the US, I'm getting worried about. So the US have stomped Mexico, as we said in the last episode. They stomped Cuba. They're just making their way through Central America. They're already at war with Honduras. They're at war with Nicaragua. Yeah, they've just. So who else has died there? Guatemala died. Mexico, we knew had died. Yeah, they're just basically Honduras. They're basically stomping their way through Central America. Through the Central Americas, and yeah, that's a bit worrying. We are hostile relationship with them. I have considered actually bribing their government 80 million a day to see if that will improve relations, given how rich we are, but I've decided not to do that just yet. I mean, we could easily afford it. We've got more money than we know what to do with, and I have been building or started building some more research facilities down there. Our research is ticking along quite nicely. And yeah, I've basically been waiting for the right time to strike at our next victim. Let me do some trading while I talk through this. So our next victim is likely to be Colombia or Bolivia. So we've got slightly more casus belli, however you pronounce it, with Bolivia, but Colombia is bigger and is a bigger prize in terms of population. I've also started provoking Argentina by opposing their government. And I'm thinking I probably should start opposing Venezuela as well pretty soon. How are they doing for oil? 2 million, that's all. We are getting some great prices on things as well now. The best price I think I've ever seen for anything. Let me see if I've got one of the exchanges here. And it's from someone who hates us as well, which is hilarious. I just want to show it to prove it's actually real, because I wouldn't believe it if I saw it on an online playthrough. Can I just go up? No, I've got to tab through them all. So there is Peru. Every now and again they are offering us for 30 million of agriculture something like 300 to 400 million. It's just yeah, it's just kind of unbelievable, really. I didn't even know the game did multiples like that. If one comes in, maybe we'll see it. I thought they'd done one. I think we do it about once a month, but hey ho. Okay, you just have to take my word for that. But there are some brilliant prices going on. We may just sell. We're kind of selling consumer goods to Venezuela every so often for. Yeah, they don't really want any at the moment. We must have sold them some relatively recently, so they've still got a bit of stock. But it's getting to the point where I kind of want to start provoking Venezuela to get ready to go to war with them. So what worries me here is a lot of our economy is dependent on trade and on having great relations. And actually, once we start going to war with people, that's likely to change. But we got to expand, so I think I just need to stop playing my oh wow, I really want to go to war with Bolivia. 99% war justification, and Colombia's 70%. I do just feel it'd be sensible to go to war with. I mean, we've got to go to war with both of these countries at some point. I just feel Bolivia would be good to go to war with first, because we just basically hate them and they hate us, and we got a great reason to go to war with them. So let's that air base is going to be built shortly. What we might do is, we've got an absolute ton of reserves up here. Yeah, so 106 of our reserves are up here. So what I'm going to do, so I put 10, got 10 of them out. I don't know whether this would be enough to take the country, but let's try anyway. So that was 10. We'll probably get another. Yeah, cool. So that's another. Let's queue up all these deployments rather than deploying them bit by bit. So we've got like 20 mounted infantry out. I think we can leave the rest there. Let's get both our. We haven't really got that many reconnaissance out. Let's get some of our tanks. Anti-tank. Yeah, we probably want some of you. Artillery, we want loads of you. Artillery is always useful. That should probably be enough. I mean, we could just deploy them all, quite frankly, but we'll only take 4 anti-aircraft because quite frankly they probably haven't got much of an air force, and even if they had, I would expect to squash it pretty rapidly. And you'll see, because we haven't got our bridges in place yet, This is why I was curious about this. You see, these would make it a lot easier. Instead, they're going to drive half the length of the country to get there. But let's start them off. I was hoping the rest of those units would auto-deploy. If they haven't, that was a serious waste of time. No, I don't think they did. I wonder why they're a different colour on here. What things are just deployed there? No, it's all I think I've got to deploy them all manually rather than having them queued up. That is stunningly frustrating. Yeah, so 10 at a time basically I can do from the looks of it. What a wonderful use of time this is. If anybody has any better advice on how to deploy units en masse, do let me know in the comments. I would be most grateful for the advice. Somebody made us a trade offer. Yeah, Portugal. That's alright. Over double the price, fine, we will take that. Is that bridge built? Because if it isn't, yeah, that is built, isn't it? No, it's not. Right, let's move these here so that they work on building both, because if we don't have that bridge, that is going to be a right pain to get across. Oh good, it's now showing us where that's moving, so our plan is to move him up there and yeah, build another industrial base. Not industrial base, supply base. So these have deployed. Maybe they are deploying over time, they just take a while, I don't know. Anyway, let's send them there. Unit designs complete. Pontoon bridging transport. Yeah, I did want to build a few of those. Where's our nearest land? That's air. I kind of think our nearest land might be down here actually. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, they're busy building motorised Pyrenees. Okay, I think maybe we need to build them up here. Let's just build like that's just to help units across rivers basically. They declared war on El Salvador as well. No, that was already when we started this episode. Sweden, that's not amazing, but we'll accept it. Yeah, that's okay-ish. How long is that bridge going to take to build? 38 days. Lots of our units decide to have taken different routes, and our tanks have decided to wander across somewhere with no supplies. Now this gives me a chance to experiment with something, which is, I think I have built some transport planes, and I don't think they carry much. I think what they actually do is how do I get to see the stats on these units in total? I might have to go to the build screen. Cargo capacity is 6 tons. Now 6 tons is basically nothing. I don't even think I think infantry actually weigh more than 6 tons. If I go and try and build some, which either means they're rubbish at carrying stuff, yeah, look, weight 44 tons, right, just for Marines. Bog standard infantry 46, so they can't carry it. So either it's basically saying it's so early on it's rubbish, they can't carry anything, or alternatively they actually carry supplies. So I'm going to move them over there. Because if they do, then this may be a little tactic I use of starting to build a fleet worth of them. Yeah, I think they do supply supplies to people. Because if I fly over that now suddenly moves a bit quicker. So, okay, that was a bit of an experiment, but I'm not 100% sure, but I think possibly. War declared. Italy's declared war on Greece, Finland and Canada. Greece, okay, right. All noise. Yeah, Sweden, we don't like you that much. Portugal, we're okay with. Let's go to Sweden and offer them something a little bit sensible on consumer goods, but nothing too dramatic. Okay, that'll do. Let's, while we're over in Europe, sell some stuff, because Germany have run out of consumer goods, which is brilliant because they then pay top dollar. There you go. Not quite 4 times the price, but not far off it. Yeah, that's not quite as good. Let's okay, we'll have to do that. The other thing which is starting to happening is, as the economies of a lot of our trading partners tend to stall, they aren't producing nearly as many industrial goods, which is a slight problem, because we've been tending to buy those in. So our stock has dropped a bit. I mean, we've still got absolutely loads, but part of the reason our money's gone up so much is we're finding it increasingly difficult to buy at buy on mass goods. They've run out of consumer goods as well. Let's see if we can sell them. 200-ish million for, oh wait, 124. We may even want to sell them more than that then. That'll do. The UK is actually the 2nd richest country in the world, I believe. So they'll probably offer us some, yeah, pretty goodish margins. We might sell the UK a little bit of oil as well. Just enough to keep them happy with this, and then let's sell China some oil, because really we'd like China to start produce or keep producing industrial goods and then sell it to us at cost or below cost. Yes, I was going to say something and it was going to be impressive and I can't remember what it was. Okay, clearly was not important. Oh good, our air base is finished. Is our bridge finished? 22 days. Oh, we're actually we're under researching by 1, which is silly of us. Yeah, we're getting some quite cool text now. It's nothing amazing, but just little things, which means we can start looking to upgrade our planes and whatnot. So let's metal iron frames I like, improve monopole I like, these to aircraft construction too, which kind of suggests I might want to think about doing that soon. Okay, let's queue this up, because I'm probably going to get a bit distracted by fighting wars, so I might as well have a few things queued up. Yeah, some of these don't take long, so let's queue all of those up. Our units are on the move. Yeah, I don't think these guys are actually running out of supply. I think they're just slow. Let's go and find our... We can bring... Did I put our Air Force on a set number? I thought I did, yeah, number 7. So let's get my Air Force reserves out. So you're not 7, but... I think to move these, I don't think I can just press 7 and click down here. No, I actually need to... Oh, Norway's been eliminated. My money says that Germany were behind that. So it's just, we need to kill these up by holding down control and just clicking on them all, because we're going to bring all of our air force down, and let's hope none of them crash on the way. No, those who did stopped off there for supplies, so hopefully we won't have another repeat of us losing no units in a war and using a bunch of units to the hey, I'm too stupid to stop and pick up oil en route. I don't think we're going to need our pontoon bridging, but since I've built them, let's just bring a few down. They won't get there before the war starts, but that's okay. And in fact, these guys actually can function as bridges. So, oh, we missed some diplomatic offers. They want to buy coal. Sorry, I don't want to sell coal. Yeah, I think I'm going to move Portugal to auto accept save, having to look at them all the time. Engage auto accept for this region. Germany. It's not amazing profit margins, but let's accept it. Just to keep them on our side. Okay, so we have 94% war justification with Bolivia, not quite the 99% we had a minute ago. Never quite sure why it bounces up and down that little bit, but let's get on with so it's always worth checking. They've already got Germany and Italy as enemies. They've got no colonies and no allied regions, so Bolivia, you are our next victims. Let's switch these guys over to bridging, and then let's move some of our units into their country. Where are okay, so maybe these guys aren't far enough forward. Bridging. Now go forward. Ah, splendid. There we go. Okay. Let's send them in. So people are keen to buy my coal now, because basically coal is getting a bit tricky to buy in the world market. You'll see the availability is poor. And so I actually decided to make myself self-sufficient in coal between episodes, which is probably why we were struggling a little bit with unemployment and the likes. Just send them to advance into this country. Let's put you on some air patrols. I don't actually think they're going to have much, but let's just patrol and see what's going on. I actually expect this to be a very short war. Yeah, we probably want to take, they've got an airfield up there. Send a few mounted infantry to go and take that. Let's see about getting the rest of our reserves out. So that's definitely all the units who are there. So I would love to deploy all these at once. That made me jump. There is somebody there who wants to fight against us. So, are you waiting for supplies? You are. Let's send a supply truck. Well, that's interesting. Are we having to deal with enemies in our territory? Well, they've got a cavalry. Well, we appear to be getting thumped by garrisons, so let's send in the Air Force and tell them to bomb a unit. Mr. Garrison. Doesn't appear to be massively effective. Let's tell our artillery to attack units. I find it slightly frustrating at times that garrisons are so amazingly good, but I guess that's just the way it is. Have they reached their final destination? They haven't. Right. Oh. So what we really want to do is move our Air Force to attack that. Because these are the reasons we have Air Force, is largely to blow up tanks. I do wish our Air Force wouldn't fly all the way back to there. You've got an air base there. Yeah, go and bomb them. That's good. Okay. Have they got anything worthwhile taking up here? They've got some. And this is, you know, I'm sure there's a more efficient way to do this, but this is there's no route over that river. We are, in that case, going to continue to advance this way. See what our supply is like. Yeah, it's growing a fair bit. It's growing a fair bit. Have we got our pontoon bridging? Let's send our pontoon bridging there. And another one down there just for... And have we still got a bunch of units in reserve there? Oh, hello. Oh, there's a little place we missed. So you need to retreat a bit because you're not really... Your artillery, you're not really lined up to fight against those guys. But you are, so... Start bombarding them. that's why I love artillery. It just seems to, I don't know if this game takes it into account, but it does seem to suppress the enemy, and it makes it harder for them to fight back, in effect. Is that bridge finished? It is finished, which is good, because we should probably march down here with our engineers and start thinking about building a supply base around that area. We missed some diplomatic office again. Yeah, accept that. No, I don't want to sell coal. Okay, we'll sell you that. That's not much, and we don't have an existing trading relationship, so let's accept that. Where are our tactical bombers? There's a tank. Kill the tank. Don't let it retreat. That's a pain. Have we got any more with longer ranges? Maybe. We have got our bombers somewhere as well. It's always better to kill units than let them retreat if you can manage it. Oh, let's send them all over. Are they not there? Maybe we blew it up and I didn't see it. Okay. What's supply like? Average-ish. We can creep forward a bit more. You guys can probably return to base. Nice, we like it. Actually, I'm not sure we do. 50% is profit margin. Let's trade while we're at war, because I can't be bothered to go around and start looking for good deals. He's run out of supply. Let's see if we can take him out. Who's this one? Oh, troop transports. They've decided to start flying in supplies, evidently. Yeah, that one didn't last long. We've had a research breakthrough. Tank design improvements 34. Italy, yeah. These aren't amazing prices, but we're buying support post-war. That's my logic. I wonder if we can build any better. None of these are amazing, really. Let's see if the USSR has developed any better tanks. 6 BT2 T26. No, we've bought better ones than all of that. They sold us our best one, their best ones evidently already. Well, we're here. Oh wow, we've got loads of consumer goods. In fact, I think we do need to go on a little selling spree around the world, otherwise we will have too much to sell when we do want to sell it. Still not willing to sell us at a decent price industrial goods. That will do. That is over 4 times, so 250 million for 1.1 billion. That's pretty nice. Italy often don't give us as good prices. That's double, so we'll take it. What about oil? So 100 million just happens to be 5 million barrels. I expect all of these guys will accept, but if some of them reject, it's not the end of the world. It's not like we're desperate for money. The UK's cap may be that price then. Oh, that'll do. That's pretty nice. I even want to see if they're a sake even more. 1.5, is that their cap? No, it's not. Let's sell them 500,000. I think we've got enough to do that, and yeah, so we're getting about 3 times the price. So that's another billion or so, several billion to come in. Our real problem at the moment is a shortage of people. We basically have no real concerns about the economy. But we do want to expand if we can. Okay, that's fine. Okay, we'll accept that, even though Germany, you've just bought a large quantity of petrol of us, I think. Who rejected our offer? The USSR. They were the best price we had. I want to trade with them for that, because that was a pretty sweet price they gave us. And actually, I did want to check. Now I remember. Germany, tanks, panzers. No, not amazing. Any better infantry? Not really. Okay. I'm looking forward. One of the tactics I want to try, which I've not really done much of before, is to get some decent infantry who aren't particularly fast, load them on a transport helicopter and drop them on the major cities of my opponents and see how they cope with that. I'm hoping not well. Oh no, hunt them down, for goodness sakes, people. I think this is the disadvantage of having things on low initiative. Have they disappeared into the forest? They have a motorcycle. They are sending a motorcycle against the massed ranks of the Brazilian army. That will not end well, people. Argentina's become a dictatorship. I don't really have an opinion on that. I mean, Italy's price wasn't the greatest on that anyway. But part of me thinks maybe I should have opposed it to upset their government a bit more. But right, let's have we got any resources around here we may want to exploit later? There's some timber, there's not really any coal, there's no oil, there's no electric, there's no uranium. So we're basically just building solely for supply purposes, and I think for supply purposes we probably want to put it there. They have an infantry unit. the Air Force. I don't even think it's going to last until it gets there, is it? Germany are really desperate for oil, aren't they? Let's go and see if they want to and buy a large quantity at a ridiculous price. Huh, nearly 5 times the price. Okay, let's go up to 150-ish. They accept it straight away, do they? No. I heard a bang. Oh, that was one of their units. That's also the same sound our units make when they decide to crash, which is never amazing fun. You should probably go and get repaired just in case. Consolidate things a little bit. Where do you want to get that? So they've got a small airfield up there and they've got something down here, so I just want to send that one down here. Maybe see if we can set up the artillery on the other side of the river to bomb the garrison. And we wanted you to build some airbase and some supply depots, and we'll link you up with let's turn the supply off. So we kind of want it to go there, but it's going to build too many bridges, so let's go to there and then to there. Okay, so this episode has now run seriously long. We're at nearly 50 minutes, which is the drawback of my rather slow approach and steady approach to winning wars. As you see, I like to hunt down the enemy units. I don't mind pausing to think about what's going on. They are out of supplies. We should have some supply trucks somewhere. Did we deploy all our supply trucks? They've all, a load of them have gone back into the reserves. Huh. I thought we seemed a bit short of units. Look at all those. I think maybe between episodes I need to investigate how unit initiative works a bit better, because I may want to turn that on to speed up some of these wars, because I happily take a large amount of time playing these games, but I imagine it's not quite as much fun to watch. Okay, what I think we're going to do is I think we'll wrap that episode there. I will probably finish crushing Bolivia off screen and get ready to fight Colombia next. Thank you as ever for watching. I'm Lukey P, and I will see you again soon.